Hi everyone, my name's Kelsey O'Hare and I currently teach high school agriculture grades 9 through 12 in Western New York. But my project today definitely does not solely focus on agriculture and can be used in a variety of classrooms and with a variety of different age students. So my paper and title of my presentation today is The Intersection of Games and Education. My essential question or thesis for my paper is that the benefits of purposeful game incorporation into the educational classroom outweigh the risks. What that means, or what important points I want to stress out of that, is that we want to purposefully incorporate games. By purposeful incorporation, I mean they tie to the content or the curriculum and not just games to occupy children's times. So I took a little bit of a look into the history of some of the games in the classroom, and there was actually a lot of research done on this topic in the 1960s and 70s. It has since been more heavily implemented. A lot of the research wasn't immediately put into use in the classroom. Now, I would say in the past 20 years or so, there's definitely been more incorporation of games into the classroom, and people have really, or teachers have bought into the idea that maybe it does have some benefits. Also, I think COVID teaching or pandemic teaching, whatever you want to call it, definitely has brought about a new way of incorporating games into the classroom. I know, like for us at my school, we were not a one-to-one school prior to COVID. We now are. So being able to incorporate online simulations and games has definitely increased. Now I have to be careful not to assign them as homework or remote work because there's no guarantee that students have internet access at home or internet capable of completing the simulation or game, but we can do them in the classroom and learn from them still. So what are some of the benefits of games in the classroom? They can be used to introduce new material as well as reviewing material. So using them to introduce material can really help in piquing students' interests in what they are excited to learn more about during the unit. Or they can be used for review material before a quiz, before a test, or before some type of project. Games have also been found that they hold students' interest for longer amounts of time. There was a quote in one of the articles I found that says, "Games capture students' attention, motivate them, and support learning," all of which I think are three essential goals most teachers have in their classroom. Also, the competitive spirit brought along with games and the potential for rewards is a way to increase student buy-in and potentially help them learn the material better than through a lecture. There are also motivational benefits of games in the classroom. They definitely encourage learning that is not just like straight memorization, depending on what kind of game you're using. I would say if you use like something like Kahoot to review at the end of a unit or whatnot, and are just doing a lot of definitions or that kind of thing, that might support more of that rote memorization type learning. However, things like escape rooms, online simulations, those kinds of things can support learning not in that sense. There are also some emotional, social, and cognitive benefits that I found have been linked to incorporating games in the classroom. So, in terms of emotional support or emotional benefits, some of the research supports that there have been improved emotional regulations and improved mood in students who use games in the classroom. I think this is definitely important with younger students, especially when we're incorporating games. It allows the opportunity for the teacher to really talk about um, how do we properly react, even though maybe we didn't win. What is the appropriate behavior, and developing those social and emotional skills. Some of the social benefits: team games really enhance social skills. If a game involves collaboration between a few teammates, it definitely allows them to work on their communication, body language, all that kind of stuff. There are also some cognitive benefits: enhanced attention, focus, and we also can work on reaction time. Some additional benefits of games in the classroom: they can be very realistic in that they can be found to contribute to learning, and there are a variety of realistic games out there that can help with this. They allow for real-world contextualization of a problem. One of the papers I looked at was dealing with a sick animal, and the students were responsible for completing a simulation that involved looking at that animal and what kinds of problems there were potentially with it, trying to solve it, and trying to play like a vet per se. And that is a real world application that some of students may be interested in. They were also, though, implementing things that they learned in biology about homeostasis and temperature regulation and such. Games create and maintain student motivation, and they have also been found to increase achievement when used in the flipped classroom setting. Flipped classroom is where students are responsible for completing kind of the lecture portion outside of class, and then more hands-on work is completed in class. Some of the risks of games in the classroom: there can be a significant time commitment attached to them. And that time commitment can take up class time. It can also take up teacher planning time in terms of needing to figure out how we're going to implement, how we're going to group kids, how long it's going to take, all that kind of stuff. They also have found that game-based learning strategies appear to be more beneficial at a younger age. So a few important points I want to touch on at the end here is that teacher interaction during gameplay is super important and can definitely lead to and definitely contributes to student academic success. Sometimes as teachers, you're like, oh, let's assign this online game, and then it'll be 40 minutes for me to work on X, Y, and Z. But being aware, helping students, encouraging them really contributes to academic success. And also, an important point when implementing games within a flipped classroom setting is that the success of a game-based activity is dependent on what students complete outside of class, and would definitely depend on your students. Here are my references that I referenced throughout the presentation. I hope you enjoyed and learned something about game-based learning and may incorporate it into your classroom in the future.